You're listening to the Persistence Mastery Podcast to give your communication skills the clarity edge with your host, Paul Leon.
We're going to talk about having a strategic mindset. This is somebody who sees the big picture, imagines the future. They're a visionary. They're somebody who can accurately paint credible visions to teammates and leaders, and they can formulate clear strategy and map out the path to get there. And this takes time, this skill. The less skilled you are in this, what will start to happen is you won't speak up in meetings as much, or you're not going to feel comfortable being tactical. So what I want to accomplish in this episode is give you really some of those tips that will help you develop that strategic mindset more effectively as a sales manager. So the first tip you can do is mapping. What you want to do is go on canva.com. You can make a free account, or you can use Miro. There's a lot of software tools on mapping. And even a low-tech option, just get a whiteboard. You can simply just use a whiteboard and start to just draw some circles around a project goal you have and how to get there. My recommendation is when you map, it's always a good idea, especially let's just say you're working on a whiteboard, is start on the right side of that whiteboard and write down the end result. What do you want to accomplish? And then start drawing circles backwards toward the starting point. This is an effective way that you can start to develop that strategic mindset to help you grow as a sales manager or more professional. The next tip is create a SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. This is a fantastic exercise to help develop a strategic mindset because it starts to help you when you're working in that tunnel, that working in a vacuum type world, to start really break down what's important and give your manager and give yourself the gift of having a higher level overview of developing this strategic mind in your workflow. And all you got to do is simply open up a Word doc and just start typing top result. What do you want to accomplish from this SWOT analysis? And just go to work. Strength, boom, 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 boom. Weaknesses, bam. Opportunities, threats. The next thing that will help you with a strategic mindset is focusing on customer intimacy. So many times as a manager, we start to get out of touch with what the front line is doing. So something I do that's really creative and it's going to blow your mind is I actually make follow-up calls, or I go on ride-alongs with other people who will allow me the opportunity to see what the customer sees. If we get that opportunity, take it. When I would do a training, I would make follow-up calls. And I remember people would like message me, or in meetings, they would say, you have a pretty good grasp on the customer voice. How do you do that? Like, what are you doing to be so insightful in such a short time? And this is in my first 90 days. And I'll never forget, I just said I make follow-up calls. And like people's minds changed instantly along with their facial expression, because they were like, what do you mean that's all you do? I was like, yeah, I just thought that was the creative thing to do. And most people just don't do that. So to elevate that customer intimacy, make follow-up calls, get in a ride along, and get face to face with what the customer is saying as much as you can in real time to help strengthen that strategic mindset further. The next tip is this. You want to look at third-party information about the company you're with, or the industry you're in, or companies similar, to help get your strategic mind working better. There's a great website, seekingalpha.com. Let me say that again, seekingalpha.com. You can type in the stock ticker number, especially if it's a public company, and get to know what's going on when you're working with that business. See what's going on in the marketplace so you can speak strategically. And look for those data points. Look for those data points so in those one-on-ones with your manager, you can have those data-driven conversations to align further your thinking with your manager's thinking. And here's the big thing about all of these tips. and why sometimes people hear this and they think, well, that's a waste of time, or it's not going to make me stronger. I'm an action oriented person. I totally understand that. And in a past episode, I remember quoting John C. Maxwell, who said, it's not the hours you put in, it's what you put into the hours. So John C. Maxwell from 21 Irrefutable Laws says, it's not the hours you put in, it's what you put into the hours. And what these exercises will do when you're doing them. And there's going to be times where it feels unknown, it's going to feel uncertain. But doing these exercise will reduce a lot of that emotional uncertainty and help you to embrace the unknown further to make you a more strategic leader in your role as a sales manager.
Thank you for listening to the Persistence Mastery Podcast. Subscribe to where you listen to podcasts. And if you want to hire Paul to train or speak for your team, visit persistencemastery.com and fill out the request training form.